It's another one of those episodes where I'm so glad that my mic and camera are off because like there's like you'd say some stuff and I would like start talking. I'm so glad I didn't talk over you guys.
Yo, you know what I was gonna do? Oh my god! Like someone told me not to do this, but I thought it was gonna be fucking hilarious. I was going to put Decapitator on every channel, and then be like, "Yeah, basically, it's just like Decapitator on everything." So like, this is normally how I use Decapitator. Like, and just do like
Totally.
And that was way before I did the Ziggies in the act. And that was back when I was.
Hello, everyone. This is the show Isolated Tracks, produced by Justin Wilmore for 90.3 KEXP FM, a non-profit radio station in Seattle, also streaming online at kexp.org. On the show, we look inside songs from some of our favorite artists, isolating tracks just to see how they get from inspiration to realization. I'm Julian Martlew. I'm one of KEXP's live and production audio engineers. And today we are talking with artist, producer, engineer, dancer, Bartees Strange about the song Boomer from the album Live Forever, which is on Memory Music. Bartees, how are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging, trying to stay busy somehow,
Are you working? I know Larry did an interview. Larry Mizell Jr. from KEXP did an interview with you, and you said you already had like your second record, the next record done.
I mean, I'm done writing it. I want to record it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what it is, which is great. I'm excited about it. I think it'll be different. It'll be cool.
Sweet. Yeah, we're ready for whatever you're making. I'm ready to listen to it. So you recorded this last record yourself, right?
Yeah, well, me and my friends, yeah. Mm-hmm. We just did it in a barn in upstate New York. My buddy Carter, who plays drums in the band a lot, he and his brother like had this like weird house in upstate New York, and they had this barn that was like converted into an Airbnb thing, and up in the top floor of the barn was just kind of like an open A-frame room with like a bathroom and a kitchen, but it's really like Manhattan studio apartment size. And we just brought all of our gear up there, and we're just like, yeah, let's like make a record, and that's how we did it.
What do you bring? Like, what do you bring to the barn?
It was great. So I mean, I think honestly, like this is the answer to this question is why everything on the record sounds the way it does, and I love talking about this stuff. At the time, I mean, we were all kind of like engineering for a couple of years, but we weren't like dope at it. We're pretty good, but we weren't, we were learning, a lot of us were just learning. I brought like a Warm Audio 1176, a Warm Audio Pultec. I had like a rack of Midas 500 pre's. I have like a Space Echo. My boy Carter has an Echoplex, and like some random like tape decks. I've got a Studer reel-to-reel, like a Revox PR99 that I was like running everything through, like on the back end. I also had like some Warm Audio Neve stuff, but really we only had like 13, 14 channels. And, and we just made it hit. We were just like, yo, like, let's have fun, and my boy Nick, like he loaned us like his 710s, like, those Universal Audio 710Ds, like that rack of the 1176s with like the 710 preamp. So we had those. So we felt like we were like gods. We were like, whoa, we've got like 9 outboard preamps. Let's get it. We were like, yeah, we're out here. We're engineering. We were trash, but we had a good time.
My God.
Like we were just hyped.
Like a blast.
It was, yeah, we did it. It was like 10 days. I was working at a climate change, like at a climate nonprofit. I was a communications director there doing like climate campaigns and stuff. And my boss, Bob Tanner, he was like super supportive of the music. And I was like, boss, I got to take off like a couple weeks to cut a record. And he was like, yeah, go do it. And so like, it was great. It was such a fun experience. Yeah.
But like when you were writing the song, how did you start?
Well, my inspiration was kind of coming from like just like obviously hip hop. Like, you know, I was really into the Baby at the time. Bop was like a big song. And I was like, as a producer and someone who's always like, how'd you make it? You know, the thing that stood out to me was just like the immediacy of like the lyrics and like the lean of the lyrics, and how I felt like, even though it's very like ornate rhythmically, the lyrics were like the rhythmic element that hooked me. You know, like the drums were secondary, and there are only two elements. It's just drums and lyrics, you know? And I was just like, how did he do that? Like, command so much, do so much work with two elements, you know? And so I just was stuck on that. And I thought a big part of it was how he was starting the songs. It was just like, boom, we're in, you know? Vocals, all instrumentation, everything. And so that was something I kind of pulled from and was like, okay, I want that on a track.
It's like it captures all of the parts of your personality in one form. It's like this. It's like an ad for the rest of the music.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. And like looking at it in the context of the record, I'm like, if I took this song off the record, I don't know if the record makes sense. Like, it really feels like a anchor for my album. And, you know, I'm really proud of it. I think it's a great song. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about the parts. Did you start with like a beat? So you had a demo, but then once it's time to record it, like, what do you do then? So
I'm a guitar player, first off, a guitar player. And so when I write songs, I write with guitars first normally. And that's kind of where I started with this too. I'll play kind of like the guitars. Let me see what I got here. Yeah. So one reason that I think this record sounds the way it does, for one, is like the room. Like, we recorded it in like a really small place, and we were all around everything. So I feel like, hopefully, like as we listen to stuff, you'll like hear our feet and shit. Like, we're just like, it was like 12 boys in a freaking studio roof of it. It was stupid. Anyways, but yeah, these are the guitars I kind of started with. And I guess like my thinking behind these guitars was like, I wanted something that was like rhythmic and that felt like it was rapping too. And I also, you know, I understood the risk that the song was taking. Like, I was kind of self-conscious about like rapping on the rock song, you know, like I'm not a big fan of a lot of people that rap on the rock song, you know, like I don't need to say names. But and I was like, but you know, I was like, I don't know. So I was like, I need to build in things that I was like, I got to lean into it really hard. Like go hard or go home. And I thought like making a guitar line that was like really dancing and upbeat and super rhythmic would be like a way to kind of like share some of the responsibility for the rapping on the track. You know, I was just like, it's not all me. Like, these guitars, it's kind of their fault too.
And so you doubled, and you got a room mic.
Yeah.
And are those stereos 2 mics on each amp?
Yeah. So I did like 2 amp. I tracked everything in stereo, all the guitars, just because, you know, I like ribbons and I like dynamic mics on guitars, and I like both. And I have some cool amps. Like, you know, I tracked out of like a 68 Vibrolux and a 67 Fender Vibro Champ, and had like a 67 Jag, 68 Casino, and like, you know, I was out here. I was like, yo, I'm tracking all my expensive stuff. Like, I was like, yo, I'm doing it all. And so that's what we did, you know. Tracked them in stereo. I sat right in front of the amps the whole session and just turned them all the way up, you know. And I feel like with these guitar tones, like, they're kind of about to break. Like, everything about the song is like boiling. And that's something I really tried to catch with the tone. You'll see here, I've got an aux that's basically it's a maximizer. Like, when I turn it off, you'll hear like the guitar loses all of its bite. And when it's on, it's just like, yo. It's like little stuff like that we were doing, whatever. But yeah, tracked a lot of guitars. And I think the room sounds really important. Like there's a lot of room on this stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and we almost use that room sound as like another guitar track. It's
Right.
pretty prominent, like, and it kind of hovers over everything. But yeah, that's where the song started.
That's how you get them 3D, right? Like it's this versus like, whoa, it's back there.
Yeah, totally.
Later in the song, the guitars get a little more crunchy. Is that a different part, or are you kicking in a pedal, or is it all amp?
It's all amp actually, which is like,
I love it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So loud and so obnoxious. And we're literally all in this little room together looking at each other like, like just we're so excited. Like we're just such nerds and so pumped. But yeah, I mean, Pete, like here's my, things get a little wild right here. And you can hear the room.
Yeah.
So much room.
And the spring.
Yes. That's on that Vibro Champ, or the Vibrolux. And then you can even hear it click. Yeah. And so, like, one thing that I love about, like, making things is, like, so when I started engineering and, like, doing stuff, I didn't have any training. I just kind of, like, learned on my own, like a lot of people, right? And, like, this session looks, like, hilariously bad. And I love that, like, all of these edits are, like, kind of choppy and weird. And, like, I mean, like, this shit. Like, it's very unrealistic. Like,
it's unrealistic. It's not bad though. I mean, you got the little crossfade in there.
I mean, it's a cute crossfade, but I love this idea of like things are big and then they're small. Things are big and then they're small. Like being like ultra dynamic. And I feel like that's like a hip hop move. Like that's a like, it's not a typical rock move. I feel like in rock, it's like we need a section to cool down. Like we need a section to get to the small section, or like, oh, we got to write out of this. But I was like, no, let's just like make the cuts hard and be kind of theatrical and stupid. And,
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's the guitars.
That's the guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you laid those down to a click, or did you?
Yeah. I laid them down to a click and then we didn't edit them at all. We were just like,
let it breathe.
Yeah, let's keep it wild. And I mean, you can hear it. I mean, the upstrokes are off. Like it's not all, it's messy, but I think that's like the point of the song. Like it is a boiling, burgeoning mess, like it's, I felt like I wanted to kind of show that. That was a real choice, because I remember looking at the mix with Brian and we were like, this is out. Like there are notes that are out. Like it's wild, and I was like, nah, like we decided we wanted to commit tones really early. Like if you look at these files, everything's pretty compressed. Like we're squeezing stuff on the way in hard. Like we're just like making the sound and look around and be like, this cool? And everyone's like, yeah, we've never done this before. This is awesome. And we just, when we like commit, boom, keep moving. Yeah. Like there's nothing even on these buses.
Like that's, I'm like, where are the plugins?
Yeah. Nah, I'm different now. Now I've changed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all the tools though. You get to use all the tools.
Yeah. Now I just know a little more. That's the only thing. This was me like at my rawest in a way. Like the first thing I ever really recorded, Oh,
that's great. That's extra fun for us.
Yo, it was, I learned so much, I listen to those songs now and I'm like, what was I thinking? Why would I do that? But anyways, we can hop into drums now if you want.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. So drums are the hardest, the sickest part of this song, in my opinion, because it's like, yo, so my drummer, the dude I've been playing with for a long time, Carter's pretty raw. Like, he's a young dude. He's from Vegas. Like, I don't know anyone from Vegas. He's the only person I know, and I call him Vegas. And like, he's just got a special way of playing drums. It's very commanding and authoritative, but like, you know, and this song really shows like how good he is, I think. But yeah, like we'll hop into it. Basically, like, these are just like the bounced drum tracks. Like, we like tracked them, we got them sounding good, and then we just bounced them down because like we were working on way worse computers than we have now, and we couldn't run everything. But that was kind of cool because we were making all these decisions super early, which is like so much fun to record that way. It's so much fun to like box yourself in and then be like, we got to figure it out. Like, these sound like shit, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the original drum track. That's the room, and that's the drums.
There's no added reverb?
That's just the room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice room.
Control. All right. Now, we slammed those drums right through a Fairchild, basically, like the UAD one. And this is that. Right? And so, like, you know, we just put them together and just mixed them, you know, like.
That was back when
And that's both. Yeah. You know, and that's how like the kick remains so prominent in almost like a hilarious way. Like, you know, you wouldn't expect like it almost does what an 808 does in a way. Like, it's an ultra kick.
Yeah, it's loud in the mix, but it's also big. It's like,
yeah, it's like
this way.
Boom. And yo, the chorus is kind of crazy. Like, you can hear the compression. It's a little wild, exaggerated. It's absurd. Like, it's like literally the most obnoxious use of compression you could ever do.
I love it because, you know, same thing. Like, I actually did go to audio school, and like my teacher would have just thrown me out of the room for like compressing things as hard as I do now. And like, this is the perfect example. Like, it just sounds so good on the track.
It's great.
And it's totally wrong, you know?
It's so bad. It's so bad. I'm very aware that like people I produce for are gonna watch this video, and like I've like produced for people, and they've come into studios definitely expecting one thing, and I'm like, you know, everything I make kind of sounds like shit, but it hits, right? And that's kind of the thing. So like, but it's lit, you know. It's like, yo, I have a, you know, there's a way I think that it should sound, and I really felt strongly about it sounding this way. So, you know, I actually felt like, you know, it's intentional.
It's intentional.
All of this mess, you know, it was a choice. But yeah.
Right,
but
what's next? What next?
Yo, there's some bass lines on this song that are pretty absurd and excellent. Rhythm is like really important to me, like in making songs, especially like a hip hop like inspired rock song. Like, and so we have like some really like groovy bass lines. I'll play them with the drums because it makes most sense. Then we get to the palm mutes and we just dig in. Block Party.
Yeah.
TV on the radio. Karen O.
Yeah.
Tao Wen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly who it is. Low register. Yeah. And then the big one. Bring it down for the chorus. Round it.
Yeah.
Yeah, ground it. When the song goes high, you go low. And then verse 2, we add variation, heat it up a little bit.
So
Go for it.
are you chopping those out of a long, like, did you play bass the whole way through those sections and then you're removing notes when you're editing?
Yeah. So I was like, I want it to be stupid tight and like, you know what I mean? So I was like, I'm going to play it through. And instead of like playing in the stop, I'm just going to make the stop artificial. Yeah. Like I was really into that. Like I was like, I want these stops, on, off, loud, soft, just like one or the other. And all the way down to how we cut bass. Like that's why the edit is why it is the way it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's like it's like a hip hop approach,
Yeah. I was pumped that it worked out the way it did. Because like I said, like I was just kind of doing stuff for the first time. One other thing that I think is dope on bass, we have this bass synth that I don't think people really realize is in the mix, but it adds so much. Without it, like little things like that.
Awesome. I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah, I hope that every time you hear the song now that you can't not hear it.
I'm gonna hear it.
Yo, real talk, you can hear it in a club though. Like,
oh, you can.
Yes, like if the system is wild, like you'll hear. It's like, I was like, please God, get this into a club, please somehow. Some 7th grade dance. Verse 2, there's like some added variation, but overall, like that's kind of the tone that we decided on. I can play the second verse.
Yeah, do it.
Such a thing. What a vibe.
And it's a dance thing too.
It is. I'm a big Block Party fan, and I love how like Kayla was always able to like straddle like, yeah, we're a rock band, but we're dancing. Like everyone's dancing, and I think like the drums and like the ounce of synth things they would do in a rock song would just like do that. It was just like it just like hits you. It's like, yeah, it's a dance song now. It's cool shit. Mm-hmm. There's also an acoustic guitar playing that like I even forget about, but like there's an acoustic track here. I'll play it. It's pretty cool, I think. Really thin. And then when it heats up, we're at the campfire. Yeah, but awesome. In the mix, it's like a you can like feel the strings of the acoustic more than you can hear them, but that's like the point, like the percussive cha-cha-cha. Like that's what you want. So yeah, it's kind of just there to feel, which is why there's like no body to the entire instrument. We just like cut all the lows off, and we're like, just give me the feeling of a guitar playing, please.
It's like the Johnny Cash guitar. It's just a scratch.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Sweet. And then?
Yeah. All right. So vocals are fun, right?
Yeah.
Important and very important to rap songs, right? It's like the whole point of a rap song. And for the mix, I mean, it was kind of like the focal point of our mix. I was like, yo, how do I make myself sound like a rapper? It was like the first time I had to do that, and it's like a very different approach to sounding like a singer on a rock song or a folk singer. The microphone I was using is a Mic Tech CV4 and SM7B. So those are like the two mics I wanted to go with. And I used them both on everything. And then I used another, I think I had like goodness, I can't even remember. I actually had my Peluso, that TR-14, it's an active ribbon mic. I used that as the room mic, and which was kind of cool. So anyways, those are like the three mics I was working with. And I think Brian's idea was like, let's get our main vocal track, bust it out to 3 different compressors, and then ride the compressors for the tone that we want on your voice. So let's use the compressors as EQs, basically. Like we may like the smooth low end of the LA2A or the grittiness of a smashed 1176. I sound like the advertisements, all that shit, or the whatever, so that's what we were like, okay, cool, let's do that. And that's like how we got the edge on the vocals. And you can see the vocal buses here. So I've got like my Vox Aux. This is like where all the vocals are going. There's a maximizer, of course, an LA2A. There's a de-esser on the front, which is really interesting. I'm curious why I did that. And then, and then it's hitting like these 3 compressors, and then it's being summed, and that's it, right? There's like a summing bus right here where everything meets, and then I just have like the whole thing. So it'll sound something like.
For 20 racks, they call me Hershey cause the money always come in relays. We on track. Woo! I've relapsed. Woo! I told my girl that I was working. That's a lie, I'm in the trap. Told my mama I was saving. Fuck, I spent that shit on wax. Told my friends I couldn't make it. They don't know I got the back.
It's like, and the thing I love about it is like how we were talking about DaBaby, where it's like the vocals are carrying the rhythmic energy, the harmony, it's carrying the melody, it's carrying all the music. And so I was like, okay, I need a vocal pattern. I need like a highly melodic Nelly-esque vocal, And so that was kind of like my dream was like the vocals got to be so good that I could literally sing it without the song and people would bop, And that's why I went for this approach and sound. And then, we did some panning, you've got like a vocal on the left side, all the room tones on the right side, just like things that are slightly not hip hop, but slightly more pop than a rock thing. I don't know, whatever.
So it's a single double that's panned left, and then the room for both of them is on the right, or the room for the double is on the right.
The room for the double is on the right.
Yeah. So that's kind of like that's like a Beatles thing where you.
I guess you're right.
Put the room opposite the thing.
Yeah. Like it's a vibe. I mean,
I know most people gonna say what they want to say. Most people gonna smoke.
You can like it's like a tickle, it's like what is that? That's how I feel when I hear it.
That's awesome. Compress. You got the Pro EQ, I see.
Yeah, a little Pro Q right here. And it's mostly subtractive, like I'm not boosting a ton anywhere. I mean, this is all subtractive. Yep. Even on the master bus I'm boosting lows because I'm trying to sound like a hip hop song, but most of the EQ is subtractive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think we tracked the vocals in Omni. So we flipped the capsule, trapped the mic tech in Omni and I think that we just let it clip. Like we have a track, I think that we were just like, let it rock. Like it's a part of the sound now. Well, and so came out like this.
And I can't even lift my hands up. That's what we dance for, Lord. I'm going in.
Room everywhere.
And right when I get all of my hopes up, something explodes, Lord. I never win.
Yeah. And that and right when it reminds me of Talwyn on the since your radio. You know what I'm saying? That song that she had. And so whatever. I love her. So that was for her. She's like, hell no. But anyways, so that's the vocal. I mean, I feel like at the end of the song, the vocal is like pretty hairy and wild, but we kept everything the same. Like I said, like we didn't do a lot of editing.
You can't help me. I know it's wrong, but the devil, he's in them here.
You can even hear it clip here.
But you're clipping the preamp,
Yes.
not digitally.
No, not digitally. No.
Yeah.
And I'm clipping the mic in a way. I mean, it's in Omni and I'm hitting it super hard and like really close and just abusing it, you know. And we thought it sounded great, you know. Like we're just like, yeah, it's aggressive.
It's
I don't
energy.
know.
Yeah. It's energy.
Yeah. You can't hear all these weird things, but I do think all those little things add up to like the ball, that rolling ball of the song, you know? But yeah, like.
And you tell me that it's all a lie, I know.
Like, so Kings of Leon, you know, just like.
It doesn't hurt that you sound like you mean it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess that's a part of it too. These songs are very personal to me, you know?
Yeah, that matters.
This shit is real, you know? But yeah, you know, vocals. And I've got some shakers, you know. Got like, oh, there's the cowbell.
Nope.
It's right there.
I see. So it was a separate track.
Wow. Oh. Isn't that rude and absurd and nasty? Let's turn it up. Horrible, horrible. Carter. Oh. There's so much cowbell. I'm surprised we don't have a room mic for the cowbell.
I gotta admit, I was expecting just the doop, doop, doop.
No.
You know? No.
An inspired separate track playing of the cowbell. That was surely done when I was like outside walking the dog.
Yeah, it's good though, because, you know, in the song, it's doing something that no one can describe, and it's working.
It is working. It's doing something. And it's real. I mean, look, this thing is hitting on all the ones going out. I mean, it's like, it's a vibe. I mean,
yeah, it's telling you where to clap.
It sure is, you know. This cowbell has instructions. So it has a job for you.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, we've
bells? What?
Yeah, we've got some bells. Yeah. Our aux, we went hard on aux. Went foolishly hard on aux. Check this out. This is fun. You know, we got the cascara right there. Got our cowbell, got our shakers. So this is rocking the whole time. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like a little percussion bed with, you know, a little multi-band compressor, a limiter to make everything a little louder, and a little bit of EQ. Busting them all together.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you know, those are the elements of the song. I mean, that's the song.
Good job, y'all. You did it.
Yeah.
You did it well. Yeah. Now, early in the song, because I'm looking at it on the screen right now, you get to shred a little bit.
Oh, you talking about these leads?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. No, this solo is really fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like so Peter Frampton and like, and just like, you know, it's just like a guitar solo.
Yeah.
You know, like a guitar center guitar solo. Like you walk in, you know, you're 32. I'm 30. You know, you're 32 years old. You've been playing for a while, and you're humbled by the 15-year-old just shredding like some Steve Winwood, and you just got to eat it while you buy your strings. Mm-hmm. And as someone tries to sell you a Squire, you know. So this is that guitar solo. This is the guitar solo for that moment. And yeah.
Now the thing is,
And
there's
yeah,
it's like but it's not. You didn't use it like a guitar solo.
I didn't. No.
You didn't stop everything and do that.
Yeah.
You're just like, I'm gonna put that in. And for me, it's like the first time I was just listening to the lyrics and listening to the song big. And then like that was a stop, rewind, stop, rewind, stop, rewind. Like, what is going on? There's a guitar solo.
Why?
It's not a solo.
I mean, I'm into like, I was like sensory overload kind of. I was like, let's just like, what else could happen? In my mind, I was like, what else could happen in this moment? Like,
Well, oh my God. Will you play a little bit of that in context?
yeah, for sure. Let me back it up a little bit.
I know it don't show. And I can't even lift my hands up. That's what we dance for, Lord. I'm going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's like 8 bars. It happens once, never happens again, and which feels very pop to me. It's very like Rick Rubin philosophy. Every 30 seconds, a thing happens. Every 16 bars, a shift occurs, which I love. And which is why a lot of my songs are so short, because I run out of moves. And I'll be like, succinct. Sounds great.
Sounds great.
Yeah, let's keep it short, just like writing.
You can always play it again.
Yeah, hey, play it again. Make sure it was as short as you thought it was. But yeah, leads.
Yeah, that was just a super fun thing to find in there. Man.
Yeah. But that's Boomer in a nutshell. I mean, that's all.
That's amazing.
It's messy. Yeah, it's messy. And that's why. That's why it's good, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's all feel and power and energy.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking us through that.
Of course. This was awesome. I was really happy to do it, and I really appreciate y'all having me and KEXP and your time. It means a lot.
Oh, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.
This is where we ask Justin if he wants to come out of his hole and say hi to us at the end. Hey, there you are. Well, that was awesome. And just in case somebody hit play in the middle of the video, this is isolated tracks on KEXP, and you can watch this on our YouTube channel. And Bartees Strange, thank you for making the show with us and telling us about the song Boomer.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Sweet.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. That was so much fun.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Oh my God.
So, all right, y'all. Well, have good afternoons.
Yeah, have a good evening.
I will. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, good to meet you both. This was dope.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, later.
Bye.
Discover new music at listenerpowered KEXP.org.